We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or...
A SWAT team led by Lieutenant Wahyu was tasked with raiding an apartment building in Jakarta to capture a powerful drug lord named Tama. Later, the government learned Lieutenant Wahyu was operating without a warrant. This was a kind of grudge operation. 24 hours later, they're all labeled MIA. NATO has advised against the Indonesian army taking action. Instead, they have created a fictional story which will warrant the arrest of a high-ranking bureaucrat. Strang Hartoto, alleged communist sympathizer, though it's never been confirmed, holds the keys for the public policing budget. Strang is keeping a secret for us. Inspection of the private financial ledger will quickly show 33% of the yearly budget is sent to a private company. This money eventually makes its way to Fist and funds her operations in the country. Cyclopes is clearly using this as a way to attack Fist's pocketbook. Today's operators. Once again we have Burner, our hot-headed, dual submachine gun-wielding masochist. Role: Wretch. His stats of note: +1 forceful and -2 creative, 8 hit points and 0 armor. Traits: Hate, Unfeeling, Akimbo. Items: some bubblegum, a Rubik's Cube, M1911, Barbarian's Wizard Stick, which he didn't bring as it forces the owner to carry out its bidding, and 2 MP5 submachine guns. And again we have Glass, our heroic, show-off samurai ninja badass. Role: Icon. His stats of note: -2 forceful, +1 reflexive, 1 hit point. Traits: Cut and Mascot. Items: Katana, extravagant costume and 2 gold coins. Our first new recruit, codename Baxter, a man-tracker of sorts, trained in demolitions, armed with a silent compound bow. Role: Fugitive. His traits of note are tactical +2, 9 hit points, and 0 armor. Items: Bomb kit and his slick compound bow. Our final new recruit is codename Westside, a rebellious streetwise anarchist hellbent on taking down the oppressive New World Order, as he puts it. Role: Punk. His stats of note are +1 reflexive, 13 hit points, and 0 armor. Traits: Cruelty and Security. Items: Microblade Stiletto, Anti-Security Kit, and Occult 45. All our operators have a health boost from Glass's special ability, Mascot. Your max HP is irrelevant. For the purposes of play, it is always equal to 1. As long as you are alive, your remaining max hit points are divided as evenly as possible amongst all other operators. We were deployed by Black Panther, which is the codename for our sleek black van. It dropped us off in a service alley, very narrow, crowded by overbearing, gray buildings. They looked as if they were knit together with power lines. UN peacekeepers had the whole block on lockdown, and using a helicopter was out of the question. Reflecting on our decisions, we should have taken the sewers, but that will be revealed more later. To our right when we got out of the van, endless city blocks, a concrete jungle. To our left was the first hurdle of our mission. There were 3 layers to penetrate before we made it to the target. Number 1 was the buildings that made up the west side of the alleyway. Number 2 was the open road, patrolled by UN peacekeepers. Number 3, the buildings on the other side of that road. We used some narrow staircases that took us up the side of the buildings. Lots of small windows and doors. People lived there and prying eyes could be felt. Archer went ahead to the rooftop to get the lay of the land. Unfortunately, the peacekeepers had the same idea. He walked right into 2 snipers on that rooftop. We eavesdropped on their conversation, but Westside had other ideas. He worked on a door, picking its lock. Archer tried to baffle them with bullshit, but they didn't buy it. They called for backup. It didn't take Westside long to pick that lock. He opened the door and told us to follow. A man and woman screamed because of our alleged home invasion. We thought of it merely as a detour. They saw our guns and quickly walked by us and left. Back on the rooftop, Archer had no way out and backed up to the ledge and rolled over it. He planned on landing on the stairs we came up on. He instead landed on that man and woman as they came out of the building. They screamed again and now we were in trouble. Archer collected himself and came barreling into the apartment that Westside opened the door on. He slammed the door and locked it. We had to climb down into the open road, or do something crazy. Glass went to the balcony and had a stellar idea. There were lights suspended by wire crossing from one side of the street to the other. Glass used his katana's scabbard and the light wire as if it were a zip line. He went sliding to the other side, over top of the street, and landed in another balcony. Show off. Archer didn't hesitate and did the same. This time the line snapped just as he got to the end. He landed on the side of the balcony, rather than 2 stories down on the ground. Westside and Burner looked at each other, and Boots started kicking the door. Burner stayed back to fend them off. Westside had no trouble pulling off the same stunt as everyone else, except he also snapped the line. Finally, Burner rushed to the balcony. The only line for him to cross the street was a balcony over and up 1 story. With his 2 MP5 submachine guns under his trench coat, he hauled ass. As he got to the line, the door broke down, and the peacekeepers flooded the apartment behind him. He used one of his guns and slid along the line. However, in his attempt, he rolled snake eyes 2 once, which means all combat damage is instantly lethal. The line broke early, and he went barreling down, crashing into a balcony on the 2nd story, taking 1 damage. The peacekeepers did not keep the peace. They opened fire. Remarkably, they missed as the cheap concrete balcony crumbled and fell down into the next balcony. Burner narrowly threw himself through the sliding glass door of the balcony, which was once below him. He took 6 damage, leaving him at 1 HP. Burner was out of the line of fire. Archer made some great guesses and guided the team to the right apartment to link back up with Burner. From there, our team, now with Burner, who was heavily wounded, found the rendezvous point. Stay tuned for part 2. To our new members, I thank you all for subscribing.